Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome all members and guests to the November 7th, 2023 special council meeting. I'd like to remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised, so please ensure your phones are on silent. If you're attending virtually, please mute yourself when not speaking. When called upon to speak, please unmute yourself and use your Teams hand raise feature icon. With that, I call the November 7th, 2023 special council meeting to order, and everyone is in attendance today. However, Councillor Van Andriesch is just next door on a workshop. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Moved by Councillor Michelle, second by Councillor Huffman. All in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest today? Seeing none, we have one closed session item today, and I'm looking for a mover and a seconder for the following motion: that council enter into closed session at 2:01 p.m. pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239 2B and E, to discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee, and litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. And we're going into closed section. Sorry, both of those have been identified. So mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Duthie and Councillor Brunton. All in favor? That is carried.
This is about story and conversation. Join us for the second guest. Welcome to episode 2 of Passionate Folks. I'm Emily. I love to ask questions, learn about people, get some connections. I'm here with Carrie today.
Thank you for having me.
I've been chatting with you and I got to know you a little bit more, but for folks that don't know you, maybe introduce yourself.
My name is Carrie Boco. I live here in Waterford. I've lived here for over 15 years. I'm married. I got 2 kids, and I just love the community.
From our conversation today, there's a lot of the community word showed up quite a few times. So
I'm a believer of, when I moved into Waterford, I thought, wow, it's, you know what, if we get involved, then you learn so much more. You meet so many different people. I mean, people that I know if I wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yes. So I asked you to pick a location, Carrie, and so tell us where we are and why you picked it.
I picked the Waterford Heritage Agriculture Museum, WHAM, because in a couple summers we will be building our skateboard park here. So it's kind of a let's do it all fun. Not that I wore the shirt or anything, but yes, this will be our future location on the other side.
Talking about passion and passionate people, what do you think your passion is?
My passion is youth. I love kids. You know what? There's no such thing as a bad kid. Kids make bad decisions. And as the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And I truly believe that, you know what? We give kids, that opportunity and show them that we support them and that, that we're there for them and they'll make the right decisions.
I made a stop at her business. She has a business downtown Waterford, and I was seeing that your family works there, your friends, your best friend is...
My best friend is with me. Both best friends, yes.
So this tight-knit... community feel is really important to you.
When I was given my dream and somebody said to me, here, I'll help you, create your dream. And I thought, okay, karma. So this is somebody saying to me, it's my opportunity to use this to give back. If I have a restaurant, nobody should be hungry. I want kids to feel like they can come in and say, I need something or I need a drink or, whatever. I've been doing this for 30 years and the kids that I trained 30 years ago still come back to find me. and they come back and they tell me what they've been doing. And I guess the biggest thing is people don't realize sometimes the simplest thing can change a kid's life.
It is a ripple effect, don't you think?
It is, you know what? And I mean, so I get to see their, like, I mean, I feel old when I start seeing them coming with their kids. And I start seeing, you know, like that they've gone through and they're going to university, or they're doing this, or they've done this or done that. And that makes me feel like, you know what, I had a piece of that. You know, just by being involved in their life, maybe I made a little bit of a difference.
So you're an entrepreneur, you're super involved in your community, you're a mom, you have a lot on the go. So if I ask you, what do you do to de-stress and let go?
I like to go to the gym. I like to, you know, boot camp, yoga. I try to take, you know, a few hours a week for me.
Yes.
And it's just about me. And I honestly think anybody who's really busy, I think, needs to learn. It took me 48 years to figure it out. But
Never too late.
never too late.
To-
As I said, I can go to the gym and I can be having the world's hardest day, and I always say I leave it on the mat.
Love.
So when I walk out of there, I feel like a completely, totally different person. Leave it on the mat.
So other than that, when you're in Norfolk, like, what else do you love to do? What's your favorite spot or place that you like to visit, or something you love to do?
Love to go on the trails. I love going fishing on the ponds. Waterford, we have so many little places to go and see and do and
What's
stuff.
happening in this community?
You know what, there is. And I mean, the thing is we don't really, I mean, I laugh because there's so many of us who don't see what's here. They're right here. I mean, Whistling Gardens, Bonnie Heath, we have all the wineries and stuff. The museum. Like, there's so many places to go. You can have a staycation without leaving Norfolk.
Yes. So thank you so much, Gary, for joining me today and being part of this blog and video series. I invite you to check it on. Every month there will be somebody new, a new story, a new connection. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series about the people of Norfolk. It's about people that have high energy, that get involved in their community. We sit down, have a conversation, learn about their passions. Welcome to the next episode. Hello, I'm Emily. Welcome to Passionate Folks. I love to ask questions and discover people's passion and having great conversations. So today I'm here with Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Might be you here, might be you invited me to a great place. I got to know you a little bit more today, but I'd love you to tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure. So I'm Nick Pranks. I was raised in Langton, and I live in St. Williams now.
So Norfolk County boy.
Yeah, Norfolk County boy. Yeah. If you're going to put a location on it, and if you're asking someone where you're from, this area, you always say Norfolk County. Unless you're from Port Dover.
Did you say Port Dover?
And then you say Port Dover for some reason.
I invited you to pick a place. So tell us where we are and why you decided to invite me here.
So we're at where I work, Blueberry Hill Estates, which my family owns as well too. This is where I spend probably my entire day every day of the year. So we're located on the patio here, and we're basically overlooking the patch. And you probably cannot see from the camera because it's on the other side of the camera, but the lake is just on the other side.
I love to hear about people's passion, and I know you have a lot of projects going on, and I want to dig further into your passion. So what do you think really stands out for you? What are you really passionate about?
So day in, day out, I'm typically making wine or working the field, so that's something I'm really passionate about. I'm also the president of the Ontario South Coast Wineries and Growers Association, which encompasses Norfolk along with other neighboring counties. And so I'm really passionate about trying to raise awareness of this area for growing grapes and making world-class wines.
And so winemaking, like, what draws you to it? Why are you making your whole life right now? And why winemaking in Norfolk County?
Well, I guess you could say it's one of the best agricultural products you can make.
I agree.
It's something that you can preserve, and like even after the crop is finished, you still have to work with the crop that you were working out in the field all year round, and when you put in a glass of wine, you have memories of how that year was when that wine was made.
So it sounds like you spend a lot of time on this farm, a lot of time on this part of Norfolk County, but if you have time to de-stress, where would you go? What do you do in Norfolk?
I definitely like going to the beach. So, getting out in the water when it's a hot day is truly nice.
Not too far from Turkey Point, I guess. You can roll down the hill.
Yeah, we got excellent restaurants here too, so which is pretty amazing for the per capita, the amount of people that live in Norfolk County, that we have enough restaurants that you can count them more than your two hands or whatever, which is
really
nice.
Good ones too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so exciting to see how our agro-tourism industry is developing in our area, and it's kind of cool to see you guys working together and really promoting this area.
Well, when you think about farming from what it was in the past, it has to evolve over time though to make it an industry that can support itself. It allows people to be able to figure out ways to succeed or have succession in their family, to go to that next generation, so that way we can have countless more generations of those families living in Norfolk County, growing the things that their grandparents grew.
And keeping the passion alive.
Exactly, yeah.
I thank you so much for your time, Nick. I thank you for inviting me in this beautiful place. I cannot wait to explore some more. And
It's too bad it's not pizza day.
No, I heard that was really good. I'll come back. I'll be back. Thanks, Nick.
No worries. Cheers.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November, we began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listened to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key areas: empowering Norfolk, building Norfolk, connecting Norfolk, serving Norfolk, and sustaining Norfolk. These priorities, along with the initiatives and activities that drive them, will guide council and staff as we work together to serve you and all of the members of our community over the next 4 years. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we invite you to check out our website at norfolkcounty.ca/Our Future Norfolk and return frequently to learn more about our path to a vibrant and strong future for all of us, now and in the years to come.
Ride Norfolk is making it easier to get around Norfolk County. You can now book your ride by downloading the free Blaze Transit app on Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone. To get started, create an account and select Ride Norfolk as the transit operator. Select your location and your departure or arrival time. Make sure to check the schedule beforehand so your trip will be accepted. Trips can be booked 45 minutes to 7 days in advance. Pay for your trip using debit or credit in the Blaze Transit app. You can also book online at ride.blazetransit.com or by contacting Ride Norfolk customer service. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/Ride Norfolk app or call our office at 519-428-3178. Ride Norfolk is going your way.
What if there was a place just outside the hustle and bustle, where the beauty of nature was right at your doorstep, inviting you to join in the fun?
Good job, guys. Got it.
What if there was a place where the landscapes were as diverse as the bounty they produced. And the term, field fresh, was more than just a marketing ploy. It was a way of life. What if there was a place where history and heritage shared the stage with technology and innovation, and success happened without much fanfare, on back roads, nurtured by wise and hardworking people? What if there was a place as lush as an ancient garden that was, for centuries, a place to explore, live, and play? A place of promises and hope. A landscape filled with possibility. And what if this wasn't just a place to escape to, but a place you could settle into? What would you call such a place? Well, we call it Norfolk County.
Welcome to episode 6 of Passionate Folks. This is a vlog and video series about the people of Norfolk. We sit down, have a conversation, hear about their passion and what lights them up. I'm excited to introduce the next guest. Welcome to Passionate Folks. My name is Emily. I love to connect with people, having some conversation and learning about people's passion. Today I'm sitting here with Sue. Hey Sue.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm so glad that you took the time to come out and have a conversation with me.
Well, thanks for asking me.
Yeah, so for people that don't know you, can you start with introducing yourself, where you live, where you're from, and a little bit more about you?
Okay, sure. My name is Sue Downs. I live in Simcoe, born and raised here. And I work for the Simcoe Reformer newspaper and started there way back in 1988. So, and loved my job, loved Norfolk County, and was really pleased that Emily asked me to be part of this. I think.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Yeah, so far, so good.
Great. So, as always, Sue, I ask a guest to pick a location so we can explore it and discover a hidden gem in Norfolk County. And this one is a little bit different. So, tell me where we are and why you brought me here.
So, we're at Norfolk County Fair. We're at the bottom of the Junior Farmers Building and here.
So, why do you pick the fair? What's so special about the fair to you?
I think for myself, Norfolk County Fair is like one of the largest events that happen in Norfolk County every year. It's always been near and dear to my heart. Like I think so many childhood memories. It's all about tradition. For us growing up, at my age, I've only missed one fair in all of my years, and that was when I was in Timmins. So I just love the fact that you can come to the fair. There's so much excitement. There's always lots of things to see and do. Like family would come home during Thanksgiving weekend, and I think that still happens today, right? Like it's all about tradition and all about community, which I feel like I'm pretty passionate about.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask you a little bit more about your passion. I see you a lot being involved in the community and supporting local businesses, and it seems like it's really important to you and close to your heart.
I like to promote local as much as possible. So whenever we go go out for dinner, a lot of people will go, do you ever stay home? Because you'll constantly see posts on social media, on Facebook or on Twitter, and it's like, we're at the Barrel, we're doing this, we're at Long Point Eco Adventure, we're,
It's so good that you're taking the time to promote those local businesses and support. And I remember when I started my business, you were one of the big supporter of sharing what I was doing. And I know a lot of people have felt the love that you give to entrepreneurs. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. But it does make you feel good, and it is important. I feel that if we can, support each other as much as possible. Like it's again, it's all about giving back.
So Norfolk County and specifically Simcoe has changed quite a lot. We are moving in a different direction in our county. So from you like growing up in Simcoe and in the downtown, and what's happening around now, like what's the highlights for you?
Okay, well, the highlight growing up was always, going downtown on the weekend. People that are watching this that are my age would remember you used to be able to go to the Tartan restaurant and Woolworths and different places down there. But I think a lot of the exciting thing that I see now is a lot of the collaborations that are happening within Norfolk County. And one that stands out is, Burning Kiln and then Long Point Eco. And then along came, my buddy Dusty and the guys from Hometown Brew. And then now Joy Cafe out there. So it's really cool to see a lot of the business people working with each other and stuff like that too. So that sort of stuff.
You don't have to go too far. You show up there and
I
everything that you love is right there.
It's like a lot of renewed, it just seems like a lot of positive things are happening within our community, and it's really good to see.
So I know you have a pretty high stress job. So maybe tell me a little bit more about what you do to relax, calm down, and look after yourself.
Okay, well, I do like to garden. I find that, if you're kind of stressful in a stressful day, you get out there and take it out on all the weeds in your garden. I also like to, walk along the trail from Davis Street and then head out along the 14th or whatever.
Okay.
And you can, it's heading right towards Waterford, so you can actually walk from there right into Waterford. I've got a dog that keeps me pretty busy, and then a group of really good friends that we are going out with each other all the time and stuff like that.
I know you have a lot of favorite spots in Norfolk, so we already named a few, but if you have a day off and you want to explore Norfolk County, is there one specific place that you actually love to visit that you feel just at home?
I would say for myself, it depends on the day. So if it's just something that I want to go and do a walk or whatever, it would be my trail on the 14th, because it is kind of private. There's not, you do run into a lot of the same people and stuff like that. I also like going down to Dover, and I'll sit at the cafe and kind of look around there.
You can watch a little bit?
Yeah, that sort of stuff, and then even take off and go to the pier. Actually, my mom has a bench there for my grandfather, who was a fisherman down in Port Dover as well too. So it's kind of nice.
Memorial benches.
Yeah.
Cool. It sounds like pretty much everything you need is right here.
Why should I go out of town? Why do I need to go out of town? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that right in Norfolk that we need to use. Yeah.
I'd love to hear your passion for Norfolk and how well you support the local businesses, and just I see you at fundraiser and you're always involved in your group of friends and supporting whatever is happening in the county. So we need more of you too in Norfolk. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I think this little chat, I'd love to get to know you better and hear more about your passions.
Well, thanks very much for allowing me the opportunity. It was great. Thank you.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November, we began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listened to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key areas: empowering Norfolk, building Norfolk, connecting Norfolk, serving Norfolk, and sustaining Norfolk. These priorities, along with the initiatives and activities that drive them, will guide council and staff as we work together to serve you and all of the members of our community over the next 4 years. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we invite you to check out our website at norfolkcounty.ca/OurFutureNorfolk and return frequently to learn more about our path to a vibrant and strong future for all of us, now and in the years to come.
Ride Norfolk is making it easier to get around Norfolk County. You can now book your ride by downloading the free Blaze Transit app on Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone. To get started, create an account and select Ride Norfolk as the transit operator. Select your location and your departure or arrival time. Make sure to check the schedule beforehand so your trip will be accepted. Trips can be booked 45 minutes to 7 days in advance. Pay for your trip using debit or credit in the Blaze Transit app. You can also book online at ride.blazetransit.com or by contacting Ride Norfolk customer service. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/Ride Norfolk app or call our office at 519-428-3178. Ride Norfolk is going your way.
I am Tom Pursley. I work at Titan Trailers. I manage the shop and design, build, program robot cells on the floor to hand off to operators to build trailer components and assemblies. I knew I always wanted to work with my hands growing up as a kid. I never wanted to be stuck behind an office doing paperwork for the rest of my life, and it really interests me to build something and see the final result when you're done.
My name's Angela Simon and I work for Annex Business Media. We are a trade magazine publisher. We produce 65 trade magazines for a diverse industries, so everything from aviation to firefighting to design engineering, manure. We have a very diverse set of magazines that we produce. I'm the production manager and I oversee the creative department in 2 divisions in Simcoe and in Toronto. We have 14 designers that lay out and design the magazines. When I started in this industry probably 26 years ago, everything was hand done. Now everything's so automated, done on the computers, and that's probably been the biggest change for me.
My name's Phil Wiersma and I work for Rasson Services. We're an industrial contracting company, so we do some custom fabrication and mechanical and electrical installations and repairs. We've built large pump skids for the oil sands out west. We've done some major factory overhauls and expansions. We do some fairly large jobs for a fairly small company. I've always liked to take things apart and put them back together, and so this is just another stepping stone.
My name is John Brock Picard. I'm 20 years old and I work at Ramblin' Road Brewery Farm. Here we make 8 different kinds of Picard's Extreme Kettle Chips. It's all on one line. The potatoes come in from the farm and we put them in through the hopper. They get cleaned and they go through a grading table where I inspect them and cut off all the rotten spots, pick out the bad ones. And then they go through up to the cutter. They're cut into kettle chip size and they're fried and salted. I guess the best part about my job would be the sampling. When the fresh potato chips come off the line, nothing beats them.
I think young people should be strongly considering a career in manufacturing. Skilled trades, there's always going to be a large demand for that, and they're high-paying jobs. The actual job is getting better as the new technologies come into play.
The skills you need to do my job would be definitely graphic design, computer skill. If you have any kind of video or inclination to do video or any of that kind of stuff, or web design, that's also a huge asset for what we do.
I would say if you like to take things apart and put things back together, or build things from scratch, or if you have even a creative mind, manufacturing is a good way to go.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a vlog and video series about the people of Norfolk. People that are involved in our community, people that bring a lot of energy. So this is about a conversation, this is about their story. So welcome to episode 3. Welcome to Passionate Folks. I'm Emily. I love to dig in people's lives, ask questions, and learn about people's passion. Today I'm here with Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hi, how are you doing, Emily?
Great. I'm happy that you're here, taking the time to sit down with me today. So I've known you for a little bit, small community, but people that don't know you. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
So my name's Adam Van Passen. I grew up here in Norfolk County. I was born onto a farm, and I got to work on that farm growing up, which was a great learning experience. From a young age, I got to understand what hard work was and what it was to be close to nature. So that was very cool for me. Growing up like that, my dad also was a counselor for Haldeman, Norfolk, and he had a big part in shaping what is today Norfolk County. So I got to see that, and watching him and experiencing him work through that really sparked an interest in me for the county and what it could become.
Great. So not like the typical kids. We hear most high schoolers like just ready to get out of their hometowns and go explore the city and something else, and it doesn't sound like that's your story.
Not at all. I heard a lot of kids saying that they wanted to move on to bigger, better things, and I just really didn't have that feeling. I always thought the biggest, best things were here in Norfolk to start.
So I asked you to pick a location today, and you bring me to a place that I don't know very well in Norfolk. Yeah. So tell me about where we are and why you picked it.
This is a very cool spot. I know a lot of people drive by it, maybe on their way to Long Point or into Port Rowan, but this is Boose Harbor. So I grew up on Boose Harbor. My best friend, his family owned this place. So I grew up here hanging out, relaxing, boating, going out fishing, going out hunting. I worked here for a while. I did some volunteer work for the Shriners Club here, doing some chicken barbecues. So I really got to experience Norfolk and how community comes together. There's a lot of people that take up their summer residence here in trailers, and it's very cool to see all these people that are coming from other places in Ontario to enjoy what Norfolk has to offer. So it's just very cool to see that and experience it. One very cool fact about this place is that Boose Harbor has the largest amount of indoor boat storage on boathouses for all of the world.
The world?
Yes.
Wow, that is crazy. This little place.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. Something to be proud of.
I would absolutely say so.
So we've been talking about nature, and we spend lots of time outside. You bring me to a boating place where you like to fish and spend time. So tell me about your passion. Obviously there's a connection somewhere there.
Yes, absolutely. Especially recently with everything that I've been seeing happen in the world, I'm very passionate about the earth. So I want the earth to be a good place. I want Norfolk County to be a good place. Everything that I love about Norfolk has to do with outside, has to do with nature, has to do with clean water, clean air, fresh trees, everything. So I just really think it's important to take care of everything that we have here in Norfolk County, and it's not an easy thing to do. So
no. We all have to start and do our part. That's the thing, right?
Absolutely. And I'm doing my best, but it does get very difficult. It's easy to make the change. It's just hard to start.
So we were talking earlier about, doing things around Norfolk and visiting places. I know you're a busy guy, like you work, you're a volunteer firefighter. Mm-hmm. So what do you do to de-stress and relax?
I would say my number one most favorite thing to do to de-stress would be to just get out on Lake Erie. Whether that's ice fishing, boating, swimming, relaxing. It's just such an amazing place. As soon as you get out on Lake Erie and you get away from shore a little bit, you just come out to this different zone.
Other than this place, like where else do you like to visit in Norfolk County? Where else? What's one of your other favorite spots?
I would say that my favorite spots in Norfolk County would have to be broken into two categories. One is nature, being Lake Erie, boating, all of that kind of fun outdoor stuff. And I also like Norfolk's bounty. Before, maybe you had to go out to a place far away to enjoy all of this beer, wine, food, amazing service, but now we can just go out the back door, and before I can drive for 10 minutes, I found something that I can go to locally that's amazing.
Couple of winery on the way here.
Yeah, it has passionate folks in it doing things. Like, it's just great. All around here, there's so many amazing things you can do, and it's just growing, so I love seeing that.
I thank you so much for your time. I love your connection with nature and what you want to do as far as your passion with the environment. I'm in line. We need to come together for this to happen, so hopefully we can inspire a few people with this little conversation here. So
absolutely.
Thanks, Adam.
Cool. Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 7 of Passionate Folks. This is a blog and video series about the people who live right here in Norfolk. I sit down with them, have a conversation, ask them about their stories, their passions. I'm excited to present the next guest. Welcome to Passionate Folks. I'm Emily. I love to ask questions and get to know people better. Today I'm here with Dan. Hey Dan.
Hey there, how are you?
Great.
Excellent.
Might be you stop by for a coffee?
Yeah, well, nice of you to have me. I'm really delighted.
So we already had a good chat, but for people that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit more about you, where you live, and what you do?
Yeah. My name's Dan Fewings, and I was a Simcoe boy, an SCS grad growing up. From 0 to 18, I lived in Simcoe. And then I think I lived in Brantford for a year, lived in Dover for a bit, and then followed a gal up north to Peterborough, or Lindsay, and I ended up spending 28 years there teaching high school. Loved every minute of it, a bunch of different experiences. And when I retired in 2014, I thought, my ma's not doing so well down there. It's going to need some attention. And also followed a friend here, and bingo. And now I live just outside of Simcoe, in between Simcoe and Victoria on Highway 24.
Great, I'm so glad you took time to have this little chat. I want to go know more about you today, and I'm going to be asking some questions.
Yeah.
But first I ask you to pick a spot that means something to you in Norfolk. So maybe start by telling us where we are and why you picked this place.
Well, I love this place, not only for the food, although in my new machination I'm more careful what I eat, so I only have one crepe a week. But I love this place because Jim and Penny, the owners, are good friends. They've hired me to play here. They give the artists freedom to be a little zany here. They're good to their staff. They run a good ship. And I love the outside in the summer. It's rocking. They do a great job getting lots of music in. I think they have music all July, August, and September, like a whack of things. And I also, a few neat experiences sort of got born out here. I have a character, I do the song chef, and they were like the first ones to say, oh, you've got to come in and do it. So.
I love what you're talking about. Like, you're involved in so many things into your retirement that you seem to really enjoy the art. Is that the main thing you're passionate about, or?
Well, I like joy spreading, and the most rewarding thing I think I do is my gal Rosie and I, after we had a trip to Newfoundland, and after I did a tour of Newfoundland, we picked up on the kitchen party notion, and so we have a little duet called the Kitchen Party Orchestra, and we go to the seniors' homes and the respite center in Hagersville and Simcoe, and we give the folks their instruments to play with us, so they're part of it. They're getting some exercise, and that is joy spreading 101.
So spent a lot of time away from Norfolk, decided to come back to Norfolk in your retirement. So tell me, if you don't have a gig, if you're not involved in something, what do you do to hang out, to relax? Where do you like to go?
Well, I love the geography, so I always like going down to one of the many shores while there still exist.
Yeah, so Port Mercy's a little small this year.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. I love, and
are you a beach guy, or?
Not in the summer, I'm not, but I am, sort of going to the water for answers kind of a guy. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The Leonard Cohen dimension. And so Long Point was always hugely special as a kid, I spend a lot of time at the Simcoe Little Theater. That's a great organization, and they're doing fun and they're welcoming, and so I'm going to play coming up that I'm doing. And
you don't seem to have too much downtime. You seem to keep pretty busy.
Keeps me out of the housework, that's for sure.
Out of the
He's all busy making some ass right now. Sewing,
Yeah.
And so.
Is it hard to get artists to come and play here, or? Are they curious about wanting to see Norfolk?
No,
see what
and you know what? More people, house concerts are amazing too. And I was never a musician on the road. I did 2 1-month tours with a student, and I had a buddy of mine, Jimmy Boskill, who was a student of mine. He said, when you retire, we're going on tour. My son is in a band, the May Hemingways, so he traveled lots east, so he booked us from Peterborough to Newfoundland, 24 gigs and 26 nights. Both, but you make, as a musician, you make way more at a house concert and play more concerty, less with people listening. No. People love to play, right? So oftentimes people think you need the applause as much as you need the money. Yeah? And many people are lined up. So it's you don't want to do it? That's okay. I've got Tiny Talentime and his brother here that'll play for you, And so people. That's why it's so nice to be in a place like this where you know that their entertainment budget is a really significant amount of money. And there are a lot of places in town here. The 211 does it as well. Even the Norfolk has a whack of music, and it's getting bigger around here with all the with the craft beer industry, the wine industry. All those places are looking for some entertainment to get their clients in. So I think it's it's going to be significant. It's just a tricky game.
So music, obviously a big part of your life?
It is a big part of my life. Yeah, I think I started when I was 13. My brother handed me a John Prine album, the very first one with him sitting on the hay bale and a guitar, and showed me the C, F, and G chords, and I never had a lesson after that.
You just learn on your own?
I just learned on my own. Guitar has, and stringed instruments often have tablature.
Yep.
Especially ones that have frets, so it's a grid really, so they can it's easy on notation to put a number 1 on a 1, you're at the first, so it's an easier system. But what happened was I was working in the teachers union. I had been seconded out of teaching for a couple of years. The head of music was leaving to become a minister, and he said, Dan, can you teach kids how to play guitar? And I said, absolutely. And I said, now Larry, I don't read music, right? You don't? And I said, no, but I'll buy tablature. So at any rate, made it work. And down the road it was funny because Jimmy Boskill, who was a wizard player, doesn't read music either. He had auditioned for this art school, and I was sitting at me, they weren't going to let him in because he didn't read music. And I said, I should let you folks know, as you know, I don't read music. And I said, if you're not letting this kid into the program, give me 2 weeks notice, because I'm not going to be the guitar teacher that wouldn't take him in. So you got to keep it moving.
Is that one of your favorite instrument?
It's a Latin instrument. It comes from the Andes, so Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Chile. It's usually used in But then I found, being sort of a folky dokey player too, it's like a good bluegrass instrument too, and it's like in the day and age of cutbacks, when the bluegrass bands start firing the banjo player and the mandolin player, you get both with one.
You show up with this one, you're good. You're good at drumming gig.
That's right.
Perfect.
And this is a charango, and it is higher up. So I started with one of these. And then I'm a big fella, so it's and you don't need that strap. It sticks right in your belly button. You couldn't peel that off with a groper.
All right, so you do some improv.
I do. So give me a title to a song never before written. It can be anything.
Let's go with the Bikini Crepe, I guess.
Bikini Crepe?
We're here, the Crepe House.
Well, it's more appropriate on a day like today to not sing about martini. So let's think while we're in the land of sand about a crepe martini. No pina colada beside you now, knowing it's done somehow. Here comes the customer now. He's probably gonna order the crepe bikini. Now the thing about the bikini crepe, it's teeny weeny, it's how they make. I'm not sure if it's a Speedo sauce, but it's nice all the same. It's teeny weeny, but it's my favorite, that old crepe bikini. Yes, sirree, I think he's making me one now. And it might be true that you can't wait for your bikini crepe, but that's okay, got time on my hands. Right on.
All right, cheers, Dan.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining me. Have a coffee. That was
absolutely
awesome.
Right on.
Love it.
Good, thank you very much. Great.
You're welcome.
See you later. Thanks, Drew.
Great, guys.
No, it's not possible. No, I cannot tell you what to say.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November. We began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listen to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key areas: empowering Norfolk, building Norfolk, connecting Norfolk, serving Norfolk, and sustaining Norfolk. These priorities, along with the initiatives and activities that drive them, will guide council and staff as we work together to serve you and all of the members of our community over the next 4 years. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we invite you to check out our website at norfolkcounty.ca/Our Future Norfolk and return frequently to learn more about our path to a vibrant and strong future for all of us, now and in the years to come.
Ride Norfolk is making it easier to get around Norfolk County. You can now book your ride by downloading the free Blaze Transit app on Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone. To get started, create an account and select Ride Norfolk as the transit operator. Select your location and your departure or arrival time. Make sure to check the schedule beforehand so your trip will be accepted. Trips can be booked 45 minutes to 7 days in advance. Pay for your trip using debit or credit in the Blaze Transit app. You can also book online at ride.blazetransit.com or by contacting Ride Norfolk customer service. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/Ride Norfolk app or call our office at 519-428-3178. Ride Norfolk is going your way.
My name is Jim Toombs. I'm an Associate Purchasing Specialist here at Toyotetsu, also known as TTCA. Here at Toyotetsu, we're responsible for supplying Toyota with car parts, mainly automotive frame for the Lexus, the Corolla, and other Toyota models. I started here in May of 2016. I was in welding. Here I am 2 years later, and I'm a salaried position. The job itself it's challenging. There are challenges in what I have to do every day, and for that I enjoy it. It's not monotonous day in, day out. There's new challenges that I'm confronted with and new tasks that I have to do. A high school student who's like, I'm not sure, I think this is an excellent opportunity to kind of answer that question for themselves. They can see what kind of the working world is like, as well as pick up skills. There are plenty of opportunities here. For example, for me, I was in welding, but that didn't mean I had to stay there. There's opportunities in stamping, where you'd learn different skills entirely. PC, again, the same thing, some different skills needed that you'd learn. Though we make car parts and they're welded, there are a lot of departments and areas that support that.
My name's Darren Pace. I'm a yard manager here at Townsend Lumber. We are a sawmill that produces lumber. We make anywhere from rail ties to timber frame home products, kiln-dried lumber, which is used for wood cabinets and furniture. We also do pallet components, and we also do stakes for farming. We ship container loads to the Middle East, we ship it to Asia. We have gone to Mexico, Singapore. We've shipped to many different locations. My father has worked here for 30 years. He got me a part-time job as a summer student. I started as a regular piler, as a laborer at the entry-level position. And with hard work and dedication, I've been promoted through the system, and it took 9 years to become a supervisor. I enjoy the freedom of the job, like outside working with the heavy industrial stuff, talking to the range of customers and the way we produce things for them.
My name is Cam Kirkwood. I'm a production supervisor at Superior Essex in Simcoe. We make magnet wire and cable for the transformer industries. Our magnet wire products are found all around you that most people don't even notice, in winding motors, in alternators in your vehicles, transformers on the side of the road or on top of poles. I've been here at the company for 15 years. I started on the floor as a machine operator for 7 years, and then I did a stint in engineering for about a year, and then I moved on to production supervisor for the last 7. One of the best parts about working here is it is a build-to-order shop. So although we do make similar products every day, it's very unique. We don't always see the same orders. There's always new challenges. One of the best parts about being in manufacturing for me is the shift work. So it provides an opportunity for you to adjust to do your own life on your days off, or you can pursue other interests. A lot of people have second businesses or hobbies that they really enjoy. There is lots of opportunity to advance. There's educational assistance programs. You can continue to learn new skills and advance to a new area if you were so desire.
There's a great opportunity moving up the manufacturing sector.
Try it, because you're going to learn a lot about the working world as well as yourself.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series where I'll be highlighting people from Norfolk County who have a passion, who are involved in our community, who are the movers and shakers. So I'm excited to introduce every month somebody new from Norfolk that will bring you their story, their passion, and share it all with us. Come on in. All right, welcome to the first episode of Passionate Folks. I'm Emily, and I love to dig in people's life and getting to know more about them. I'm here with Jess today. Thanks, Jess, for showing up.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
So Jess, for the people that don't know you, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit more about you and the person that you are.
Sure. Well, my name's Jess, and I grew up in Waterford, more specifically Boston, more specifically Bill's Corners. I'm a passionate Norfolk advocate. I love this area. I love theater. I love music. I love anything arts related. Also a passionate advocate for entrepreneurs in the area.
So I invited you to pick a location in Norfolk that meant something to you. So tell us where we are and why you picked this place.
All right, we are here in Simcoe Little Theater. It's on the corner of Talbot and Yonge in downtown Simcoe. And this place, Simcoe Little Theater, is a very special place to me. I spent most of my life in these walls, on that stage, behind the stage, in these seats, like everywhere in this space. It's something that theater is something that's like has always been a big part of my life since I was about 8 years old.
You mentioned to me that you also in high school, you were really involved into the drama program and all that, so.
I had walked the halls of my high school and I had seen so many pictures on the wall of different shows they had done throughout the years, but nobody was doing shows anymore. And I was like really bummed about that. So in grade 10, me and my girlfriends, we roped all our moms in. We're like, if we start doing high school shows, like, will you guys help? Will you make costumes? Will you whatever? And they all jumped in.
Involved.
Yeah.
I love that, right? Like, that's a small community, like
that's
everybody
it.
coming in together.
And like, that's what it requires, right? Like a show is like a mini village coming together, like making all the pieces happen.
So this community, I think the word, like you keep repeating it, and I think what you're creating in Groundswell is that sub-community within the community, and that really stands out. So would you say this is something that you're really passionate about?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that connection,
totally.
Right? Yeah.
I just think like community is everything. We're not meant to live life alone. I don't think. And I don't mean like you have to necessarily have a romantic partner to live a life, but just have people around you that get you. That you don't have to explain yourself. You know what I mean? You just walk in the room and they're happy to see you. That's it.
That's always such a good feeling. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, like you just have those people that believe in you too, right?
Yeah.
And just cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So I see, Jess, you're always involved in this community. Like you're volunteering places. You really want this place to grow and thrive. And so why Norfolk? And what do you love so much about this place?
Oh man, I think yeah, it's a really good question. It's a combination of things. I think the geography that we live in, the nature we have around us, that is a huge benefit of being in Norfolk. But it's also the people here, and that's why I'm so obsessed with community, because we have so many beautiful people who live here with ideas, with talents, with love and vision. And I think that's what excites me. It's like, just because we're a small town doesn't mean we have small ideas or small impact.
I want to bring some of the music piece, because I know we've been talking a lot about the theater and acting, but I know that music is so important to you.
Yes.
And a big part of your life.
Yes.
So tell me a bit more about your maybe influences and what makes you feel alive in music.
Just like theater, I love performing music too. There's something really cool about being on stage. Like that, before I came here today, I was like thinking about how alive I feel when I'm on stage. And I think that everyone kind of looks for that thing that makes them feel alive.
Yeah.
So for me, it's that.
Awesome. So I thank you so much, Jess, for taking the time to meet with me. There's going to be more feature of passionate, uplifting community people through this little video series. So keep watching. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. This is so much fun.
Awesome.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November, we began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listened to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key areas: empowering Norfolk, building Norfolk, connecting Norfolk, serving Norfolk, and sustaining Norfolk. These priorities, along with the initiatives and activities that drive them, will guide council and staff as we work together to serve you and all of the members of our community over the next 4 years. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we invite you to check out our website at norfolkcounty.ca/Our Future Norfolk and return frequently to learn more about our path to a vibrant and strong future for all of us, now and in the years to come.
Ride Norfolk is making it easier to get around Norfolk County. You can now book your ride by downloading the free Blaze Transit app on Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone. To get started, create an account and select Ride Norfolk as the transit operator. Select your location and your departure or arrival time. Make sure to check the schedule beforehand so your trip will be accepted. Trips can be booked 45 minutes to 7 days in advance. Pay for your trip using debit or credit in the Blaze Transit app. You can also book online at ride.blazetransit.com or by contacting Ride Norfolk customer service. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/Ride Norfolk app or call our office at 519-428-3178. Ride Norfolk is going your way.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series about the people that live in Norfolk, people that are passionate, people that are involved in their community, people that bring a lot of positivity. This is about story and conversation. Join us for the second guest. Welcome to episode 2 of Passionate Folks. I'm Emily. I love to ask questions, learn about people, get some connections. I'm here with Kiri today.
Okay, mover and a seconder to reconvene in open session 2:58 p.m. Moved by Councillor Vanden Driesche, seconded by Councillor Huffman. All in favor? Carried. Council provided direction to staff in closed session. Confirming bylaw. Bylaw 2023-79, confirming the proceedings of council. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Brunton, seconded by Councillor Columbus. All in favor? Carried. And a motion to adjourn at 2:59 p.m. moved by Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Vanden Driesche. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll jump right over to public hearing committee meeting. I'll call the meeting to order and welcome all members and guests to the November 7th, 2023 public hearing committee meeting, and remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised. So if you could take a second and ensure that your phones are on silent, that would be great. For anyone attending virtually, please mute yourself when not speaking and unmute yourself when called upon. Staff, remember to use the Teams hand raise icon on Microsoft Teams and remove it when you're finished speaking. And with that, I'll call the November 7th, 2023 public hearing committee meeting to order. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, mover and a seconder to approve the agenda as presented, moved by Councillor Michelle. Seconded by Councillor Columbus. All in favor? Carried. I now officially open the public meeting held under the Municipal Act, the Planning Act, and county policies. Please be advised that to preserve your right to appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal, you are required to make a comment or a written submission prior to the passage of a bylaw. These meetings are allowed to allow the public to provide initial comments on presented planning matters, and no decisions will be made today. The first item on the agenda is 4.1. It is the development application for the Ryder subdivision in Delhi, CD 23090. Mr. Sloan?
Thank you through the chair. And I think just maybe as a bit of an introduction before we get into these three files, as we do have three subdivision and rezonings before us, it might be helpful if we could have Tricia Givens, our Director of Planning, just give an overview for committee and council as to the process for these ones under some of the provincial changes that have happened, and then what you're going to see at subsequent council meetings. So I'm just going to turn it over to Tricia, if that's okay.
Thank you. Through the chair. So just for some context, tonight we were supposed to be presenting our public open house for our draft official plan amendment for Planning Act conformity. And we've deferred that for various reasons. It'll be coming to council in December. But an important component of that, because of the legislative timeframe changes, we will be updating our official plan to articulate when applications can come and when they can't come as combined applications. So the applications before you tonight are combined zoning bylaw amendments and subdivision application. You will have two subsequent reports, recommendation reports, because of the statutory timeframe changes. So through our official plan update, we'll put some more clarity around when we will accept applications and at what time to ensure we're able to meet the timeframes. So these types of applications before you tonight won't be what you see in the future based on those changes.
So just thanks, Tricia, just to supplement that. So what we're likely looking at is that you may receive as council then the rezoning report, followed perhaps a month later by the subdivision report. So it may be a little different to consider rezoning land as part of a subdivision without the actual subdivision. And then unfortunately that just means that some of these changes are leading to a little bit less streamlining and a little bit more duplication, because then we're going to have two staff reports instead of one. So we just wanted to make sure committee and council was aware of that, and when that comes likely at the next council meeting. And we'll continue to see what we can do with these provincial changes, though, to make things as streamlined as possible and as efficient as possible. But this is a bit of a challenge that's come up. With that, I think if it's okay, then we'll get into the first file. And so we'll turn it over to Fabian to introduce this application. Fabian?
Thank you, Brandon. Through you, Madam Chair. So I'm just going to wait for the presentation to get on the TV there. You know what, while we wait, I think this would be a good time. We received public feedback for this application this morning. I can go around and pass it around to members of council if you'd like.
Through the chair, we're just confirming because the screen we're seeing here is the Board of Health, but the public hearing committee isn't showing. But I think it's being shared. The PowerPoint's on the other link.
Essentially has to be processed within 90 days, whereas the draft plan of subdivision is 120 days. So council would be seeing the zoning amendment come forward first for decision, and then the draft plan of subdivision. In regards to the zoning bylaw amendment, oh, there we go. In regards to the zoning bylaw amendment, the proponent is requesting a variety of changes. So ultimately, they're broken up into 4 parts. So part 1 is to change the zoning from R1A and R2 to urban residential R1B for the development of the single detached dwellings, as well as special provisions for reduced lot area, frontage, and yard provisions. Part 2 would consist of changing the zoning from R1A and R2 to urban residential type 4 to allow for street townhouses with a special provision for reduced lot area, frontage, and yard provisions as well. And part 3 would be to change the existing zoning from R1A and R2 to R4 with a special provision to permit dual frontage townhouses and for reduced lot area, lot frontage, and yard provisions. And this component of the zoning amendment is also seeking to add the use of dual frontage townhouses as a permitted use within the R4 zone. And then for part 4 would be to change the existing zoning from R1A to open space in order to permit the establishment of a public park or stormwater management pond. At this time, staff received public comments this morning. That's why they weren't included as part of the agenda package that council has in front of them today. But to summarize some of the public comments that were received, there's concerns about compatibility of the proposed residential subdivision with the existing residential development that currently exists. There's traffic concerns, specifically the draft plan of subdivision has 2 primary entrances along, it was Crozier Road and Dalton Road. And there are other concerns stemmed surrounding the significant increase of density as well as infrastructure concerns. So with that being said, at this point in time, that summarizes the project in its whole. If there's any comments from council or from the public, they're more than welcome. But that concludes my presentation at this time.
Thanks, Fabian. Are there questions from council members? Staff. My only question would be, do we have a position ourselves on the entrance and exits? Tim, go ahead.
Good afternoon to the mayor, to the council. There is a little bit of an issue with the comment made today that was received there, citing that there's only 2 connections to the proposed subdivision. There is actually 3 connections, one off of Crozier, one off of Dalton, and the temporary cul-de-sac that is at the end of Harvest Lane, I believe it's called, would be removed and a permanent connection would be made to the subdivision. According to all our criteria, that is an adequate number of entrances for the level of density that is in there, or proposed, sorry.
Council? Okay, we have Mark registered to come up and speak from Calibrex. Mark, come on up to the podium. We've got a new microphone there, so it's the button on the right-hand side. And you have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council, staff, staff kind of all around the room here and virtually. Thank you very much for having me. And I see some new faces around the table, so congratulations on your new elected positions. I was in front of you twice last year, had 2 different subdivisions approved in Simcoe. I know the zoning bylaw summary of amendments that we're asking for sounds like a lot, but I just want you to understand that that's from a previous, somewhat archaic zoning bylaw. It's really essentially what you already approved on the hub lands that we purchased from the county about a year ago. So all the same lot types are being proposed. I'm going to walk you through the presentation shortly. Really what we're looking at is a subdivision that was already approved for 147 residential units, but large lot sizes. Today, obviously, as we know, there's an affordability issue. Homes are much more expensive. We're proposing 4 different housing styles of smaller single-family detached lots, townhouse lots, and dual frontage lots to kind of hit that missing middle, should we say. We've been very successful already on our Duco Road subdivision. Doing that, we'll be launching the hub subdivision in the spring. We're very excited about that. So let's just let it roll and I'll walk you through the presentation. If I can have the next slide, please. Next slide. So about us, we're a young forward-thinking firm. The compatibility issue, we do a little bit more of a modern farmhouse design. We do offer an array of amenities in our houses. We look forward to connecting this new development and introducing this new buyer group into Delhi and really having, young residents of the community, of all of Norfolk County, able to stay in their community and have the affordability factor to be able to do that. If I could have the next slide, please. So our team, we do have our consultants here next to us, and Scott Poulier is going to be the chief planner on the project, and we are the applicant in connection with the numbered company that's on the slide. As Fabian mentioned, we are at the northeast corner of Dalton Road and Croton Road in the urban area. We are already designated for residential uses. We're already zoned for residential uses, and the property is already free and clear. There's no environmental features on the property whatsoever. There's no wood lots. There's no water courses. There's no water bodies. Next slide, please. So walking you through this, again, it is already approved for residential uses. It is already draft plan approved for subdivision uses and zoned for subdivision uses for single family detached only. But that was in our old style 2008 approval, 147 very large lots, 70-foot lots. In terms of the affordability factor in this day and age, it wouldn't be feasible to bring that to market. We want to have a mix that fits the community, allows people to stay in the community and have a community that they're proud of. And walking you through the next slide, we're looking for basically essentially 3 phases of development here. We are providing one very large community park, as well as our own self-sufficient stormwater management pond that will service the development in its entirety. If you just look at the different styles of houses on the community, just to walk you through the dual frontage styles, we'll have essentially, like our hub lands that were already approved, front door on the southern road and front door on the eastern fabric, and then the driveways with garages in the back. We know and we recognize that parking is always a big issue here. All of these homes, I want to assure you, have 2-car parking as per the zoning bylaw. We're not asking for any relief from that. That meets all of your standards. Perfect. Oh, it's not. Oh, sorry. Next slide. I apologize. Yeah, so sorry. The green highlighted one are the dual frontage. And then in the integral surrounding is the single family detached. Further to the north are the standard street townhouses. One thing that we're really excited about, and this is the first, staff hasn't seen this yet. This is what our sales and marketing team worked with us through. We're dubbing this community the Gardens of Delhi. As housing affordability is an issue, so is food affordability. It's a big thing these days. So if I can have the next slide. Within the park, that's next adjacent to the stormwater management pond, we're actually proposing to have a community garden. The community garden would have the apple orchard and then a linear community garden that would be, plant one, take one, leave one, all done by the community. But it would be fit up by us. We would do the original, suiting up of that and then, provide a water line to that so that it can be irrigated. But it'll, we think that's going to be a great factor. And there is still space. We've had our landscape architect look at this, that we could still have a splash pad, a community tot lot play area, and a garden gazebo type structure there. So really providing, a full, community feature. It's going to be a fantastic living space.
1 minute remaining, Mark.
Perfect. We can just run through the housing types. Most of you already saw them. They're not an exact replica, but very close to our hub and Deku sites. So modern farmhouse designs, elegant interiors, traditional designs. These are at the bottom of this slide is our street townhouses. We go to the next slide. This is an example of the dual frontage townhouses. They don't have rear yards. They have amenity decks above the garage. So that could be for more senior type use that, they don't need the large space to maintain and cut in the rear, but they still get a large garden style deck in the back. Next slide, please. This is our freehold townhouses, exactly what we're doing on the south side of the Deku. And then the next 2 slides are just examples of our 30-foot singles and our 36-foot detached. Perfect. And really, I guess let's plan a time, but I invite you to ask any questions you feel fit. But thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for the presentation. Are there questions from council? Councilor Columbus.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for being here. Will any of these development be a condo style, or how will you designate them?
Through the chair, they actually were proposing to be all freehold, and the road designs meet all of the guidelines, engineering standards for the county's freehold roads.
And when were you expecting to put a shovel in the ground?
Well, we're hoping as soon as next summer to start servicing in the phase 1. This is going to be, I'll just say as well, if I could, give me the embellishment. We are looking, it's a large 371 units. Will take a little while to sell. Mm-hmm. We're looking to do this in 4 phases, but 4 sequential phases, not piecemeal. But one more thing if I could add, we're going to be doing the park in phase 1.
Okay. And Crozier Street is not built right through from the dead end of Crozier.
Correct.
Over to sort of not Dalton, but the road to the west. Mm-hmm. And when do you anticipate putting that road through? I've had calls about from residents that are worried about during construction phase that there's going to be dump trucks and everything going through the subdivision.
I assure you that we will not be using the internal streets for construction purposes.
Okay, so Crozier, the extension of Crozier to
the west extreme of the subdivision that you're developing. When do you anticipate putting that road through?
Pending on the traffic review, we've already submitted the required studies. Our applications has been deemed complete. Depending on the review of the TIS, if it says that we need it in phase 1, but again, to your point, that could cause some, I can't control every single trade. It could cause them to be using that as a shortcut potentially. We don't want that. I've been there, you've been there. It's not the most easy road to navigate around. It's easier to get away from the south and from the east, right? So
right. And how about Main Street, punching it out to Dalton Road? When do you anticipate that would happen?
That would probably be in the first phase.
First phase, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're talking about an apple orchard, which to get good apples, you have to spray insecticides, fungicides on these apple trees. How do you anticipate that's gonna work and continue on once your subdivision is developed? Like, do you expect the county to look after something like that, or
it would be a public park. We would look to do in the spirit of our company, kind of our corporate culture, we do look at organic uses. So that's really the spirit we're looking at. If maybe we could change it to pear trees potentially, but we do that's really the goal of the community here.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Brennan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is on your handout here, you show second here, the different, the 30-foot detached.
Yes.
Can you tell me the square footage on those, what they would be?
They'll be from about 1,800 to 2,200 square feet.
30-foot.
Yeah.
3-story then, are they?
No, just 2 stories.
Yeah. What was it again, 1,800?
Yeah.
And what about the 36?
36, it's actually around the same size. The big difference there is there'd be 2 integral spots for the garage, parking spots. The 30-foot only has 1 parking spot inside and 1 in the driveway. So again, every lot style has 2 parking spaces on property.
And I did read someplace in here, like with fully developed, what's the, there was a, I guess the residential factor, there was what, 1,500 or 1,400 to 2,200 residents in the end? Possible?
It wouldn't be that high. It would probably be closer to about 1,100. I'm not sure if you read that on the email. That wasn't our statement.
Okay, it just said, sorry, I'm reading this, says, well, around 1,500 to 2,200.
Yeah, that's the piece of public consultation input.
But it's not accurate?
No.
No, okay. Thank you.
Councillor Barry.
Thanks, Mayor. Through you to the deputation there. So the apple trees are one of my questions, but I also, just to be clear, so you said this is a public park, so ultimately Norfolk County, once that splash pad and playground and community garden is built, becomes a Norfolk County asset that it has to maintain and pay for, essentially?
Yes, it would.
Okay. And then the community gardens, you know, in the event that they're not maintained by the residents, what happens there? Like if they start to, you know, get weedy and go to seed, like is that a Norfolk County responsibility to clean them up then and take care of them?
Again, through you, Madam Chair, it should be the county could choose to turn it into a soccer field potentially.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a full public park.
Okay.
Councillor Van Andrieschie.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. All of these are sale properties. Are there any rentals at all?
Madam Chair, yes, all of these are properties for sale.
Do you ever consider rental properties?
We have done them in other areas for sure. That's not our market here. Down in Florida, we're doing a project with 552 walk-up garden style apartments, 3-story, all surface parking. It's a different style of development there. You wouldn't want to see it here. Basically, it's a field of asphalt essentially with you know, big buildings around it.
Okay, and I'm just going to ask you your condo range, not the housing, not the, just the condo range. What would the pricing? Have you ever any thoughts on that?
Through you, Madam Chair. The condo range or the price range?
Price range of the condos type of deal.
Okay, so none of these are condos.
These are not condos?
No, they're all freehold. Yeah, they're all freehold. Those are townhouses.
Oh,
freehold.
townhouses. So I'm
Freehold
townhouses.
Okay, so yeah, so that the freehold townhouses, the 6 meter ones, those we're looking at a price of coming out around 620. Yeah, and then the dual frontage townhouses have a slightly larger square footage, so they're around 680. And then singles are obviously a little bit more.
Any other questions for Mark? Councillor Duffy.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, and through you, thanks for your deputation today. I do appreciate that you have the required number of parking spaces because I hammer on about that at every time we have one of these meetings, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Also, I wanted to just confirm, I think I heard you say that the park is planned to be in phase 1, is that correct?
Sure. Yes, we want the park fit up and completed as part of phase 1 for our homeowners and just for the entire community. And again, I just clarify as well, this park is not just for our development. The entire community can benefit from this. And I think with its proximity to the public soccer fields and the soccer club next door, it'll be a great fit.
I appreciate hearing that.
The report is information and that the comments as part of the statutory public meeting be considered in a future recommendation in a staff report. Moved by Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Van Andrieschie. All in favor? Go ahead, Councillor
I'd
Columbus.
just like to make a comment, Madam Mayor, just to state that this property is within the urban boundary of the town of Delhi. It's existed as a plan of subdivision in the past since the late 1960s. There's been developments on it. It's previously been approved for 147 units, as was stated by the deputation. It meets the Norfolk County official plan policy. And it's, of course, a greater amount of lots, which increases the density and the efficiencies of the land use. And we do have water and sewer capacity in the community of Delhi. So that's why I put the motion on the floor. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Columbus. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, Turkey Point Road, Greens Corner, CD 23081. Mr. Sloan.
Thank you. The next development file in one of our hamlets, and Hannah is on line here, and take it over, Hannah, to introduce the item. Thank you.
Thank you. Just one moment while I share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. So through you, Madam Mayor, this is a joint application for a zoning bylaw and draft plan of subdivision. The subject property is located at 1910 Turkey Point Road in the hamlet of Greens Corners. For some additional context, this property was the subject of some previous planning applications, which include a zoning bylaw amendment to permit reduced lot frontage of 20 meters and apply a holding provision in order to facilitate to consent to several applications for the lots addressed as 1916 and 1920 Turkey Point Road. The surrounding land uses are primarily residential to the south and west. There are abutting agricultural lands located to the north and east. There is the Mary Mackenzie Drain running across the southeastern corner of the property, and woodlands, which are significant, covering the southern portion. The lands are predominantly designated hamlet residential and zoned hamlet residential with a site-specific provision for that reduced lot frontage. There is a small portion of lands designated and zoned hazard land to reflect the drain to the southeast, and there's an overlay of significant woodlands along the southern perimeter of the parcel. There are two planning applications being presented for Council's information today. A draft plan of subdivision is proposed to create 15 lots for single detached dwellings on private services. There is a new proposed street to connect to Turkey Point Road, and one block, which is part 2, on the mapping on the left for stormwater management. To facilitate this subdivision, a zoning bylaw amendment is proposed. So the effect of that will be amending the existing site-specific provision 14.994 to permit reduced lot frontage of 25.12 meters in the RH zone, which will only affect lot 10, which is part 1. And staff are proposing a stormwater management block, which is part 2, being rezoned to open space. And we'll also be proposing to remove the holding provision, recognizing that there is now a draft plan of subdivision application being considered. In addition to standard requirements for draft plans of subdivision applications, the technical reports submitted to the planning department include a planning rationale report, a functional servicing report, geotechnical report, hydrogeological study, traffic impact study, an issue summary report regarding potential environmental impact, enhancement and mitigation with regards to the natural heritage features, and sample building elevation drawings. With regard to technical comments, staff have received feedback from the Development Engineering Department regarding the road. So the suggestion is either an alternative layout for the road be proposed to address the cul-de-sac, or the road be privatized as a condominium element to alleviate the future maintenance costs associated with the dead-end street. Engineering has also provided some feedback on the proposed stormwater management strategy. No written comments have been received by the public at this time, recognizing that some questions and inquiries in person have been received regarding drainage. Some preliminary considerations for this proposal include the addition of low-density housing, the impact of a new proposed cul-de-sac road from Turkey Point, and potential impact to natural heritage features. Just noting that approximately 2 acres of trees will be removed from a portion of significant woodlands, so there are some mitigative measures to be considered as part of the conditions of approval. Next steps are that planning staff are currently preparing a recommendation report for the zoning bylaw amendment for council's consideration on November 21st, and a recommendation report with conditions of draft approval for the draft plan of subdivision on December 19th. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time, and I'm available for any questions.
No, that's okay, because mine wasn't working and yours was, so it was okay. Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions of staff? Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to staff. I did get a call. That property, I think, is on the boundary between the Mary Mackenzie drain and the Langtree drain. And they have some concerns that I'm supposed to slightly relay that maybe the Mary Mackenzie drain is in need of some extra updating, that it's not functioning at its full capacity. And they have concerns that the addition of new houses in there is going to cause a problem. Is that going to be something that will be dealt with by engineering and the drainage department as part of the overall process here?
Thank you, Councillor. If I may, glad you brought that up. I think I had an opportunity to speak with that resident, and I'm glad they reached out to you. My understanding is yes, there are mechanisms to address that consideration, and I see that Tim Dickhout is here to provide some technical feedback on that matter.
Good afternoon to the mayor, to council. Yes, the stormwater management will have to capture all the water that falls within the plan of subdivision, and it will be directed to the proposed stormwater management pond, which it should release at a rate that should not cause any detrimental damage to anybody downstream. I believe right now, as currently proposed, the outlet is to the was it the Langtree municipal drain? I might not be calling it by the correct name, sorry. But that is the proposed outlet at this time. The proposal has been submitted to our drainage superintendents for their review, and they have provided some of the comments that you may see in our technical packages already. So we are aware of it, and it will be captured during the detailed engineering review of the subdivision.
Langtree drain has just recently gone through a clean out and some upgrades. So if they could outlet it that way, it would save a lot of trouble on the Mackenzie drain. So thanks.
Councillor Breton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Am I clear then the future stormwater pond will be part of the municipal drain, or it will not?
That will depend on the review of the stormwater management as it's proposed. Typically, they're not part of the municipal drain, and I know we are trying with most subdivisions not creating additional municipal drains, but it will depend on when it goes through the review by our drainage superintendents and the engineers that do the peer review for that. It may be determined that it might be required to be a branch drain, but I would not think that would be the case for this development.
Just an observation, I would think if the pond becomes part of the municipal drain, it'd be to our benefit, would it not? For future maintenance and everything, like, I mean,
for future maintenance, it would then be passed on to the residents that benefit of that drain. But I believe there is some other concerns with everything going to a municipal drain. I know we are looking at that as we move forward, the engineering people, as they move forward with the need for the CLIs that we do, and the monitoring, the maintaining of these existing stormwater management facilities.
that will be looked at in the future. Mike.
As we move forward and sort of in our master servicing plan of stormwater management, yeah, that will be part of the review process, but maybe not necessarily with the subdivision, but the pond most likely will become a municipal asset and not a municipal drain.
Any other questions? I have one with just concerning the configuration of the lots. I find lots 15, 12, 14, and 13 to be odd. And I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter to me all that much at the end of the day, but I think that that's an issue for the ward councillor when they start to have concerns with their property lines and so on that are probably civil issues. But why are the lots configured the way that they are? Is there a reason for that?
Thank you for your question, Madam Mayor. That is a great question, and it is certainly one I can bring forward to the agent's consideration for clarity and to address in any potential amendments, if that is a direction to staff, or further explanation and discussion in my report for Council's consideration on December.
Microphone's off. I wouldn't mind more information about that. If there's a reason for it, then so be it. But if not, then I find it odd and I think it's a bit messy. And so I'd like for you to have that discussion. I'd also like for you to have the discussion about continuation of the road. And again, it's not a hill I want to die on per se, but it makes me think of East Street in Port Dover, and we spent a lot of money to punch that road out. That ended up being municipal tax dollars. So I think that there's a little bit more discussion to be had with the cul-de-sac if that is a concern of staff. And I heard that it was raised, so I'll echo those two comments. Okay, I don't have anyone registered to speak. So is there anyone in attendance that wants to speak? Mary? I don't have you on my list, but come on up.
Signed in downstairs, Madam Mayor, so I thought that was it. Anyway. This area has been designated to be a hamlet and to be developed in hamlet in-depth development for a long time, ever since I started working here in the 90s. So it's been waiting for a long time to be developed. You could say, except for the one road in, it's landlocked. There's no way to get out because of the existing development to the south and to the west. It would be nice to be able to do a through road. It's just not possible in this. We were given an example of what we could do by taking the road across the top as it is now, bringing it down either side, and then across the cul-de-sacs in the county. Although it has been pointed out that our design guidelines now say not to have cul-de-sacs, it's still something that we would like to have, and we would like it not to be condominium. There were no concerns expressed by EMS or fire to do with the engineered road because the cul-de-sac was wide enough for their machinery equipment to turn around. The lots are sized for private servicing based on our study that was done. Lot 10, because of the engineering design, is unfortunately one that's a little bit too narrow for the frontage we need to have. So that's why we're before you today to ask for that reduced frontage. We agree the stormwater management should be an open space zone. So please include that as in the draft bylaw. With those comments, is Alec Muir here? Okay. He wanted to make a couple of comments on the engineering, if they could, Madam Chair.
Does council have any objections to that? They're not registered to speak. Okay, come on up. And just state your name again and who you're with.
My name's Alex Muirhead. I'm an engineer in training with CJDL Consulting Engineers. We're the engineering consultant on file for Peter Bosma for this project. There was some discussion earlier about the stormwater management outlet. The intention is that the stormwater management pond located in the southeast corner of the site will outlet to the Mary Mackenzie drain as it's currently designed. The Langtree drain, from what we understand, is on the west side of Turkey Point Road. So it's some distance from the site itself, although the very northeast corner of the property does drain towards Turkey Point Road. The stormwater management pond that we would be designing for the southeast corner of the site would be required to control the outflows from that pond to whatever the current field drains towards that pond now. So we would not be allowed to increase the runoff towards that municipal drain. In terms of the lot configuration that was discussed, as Mary had mentioned, the loop road would result in significantly more road length going through and would not necessarily be an effective use of the lot configuration of the site. In terms of putting a through road through, the south boundary is surrounded by existing residences with no room to currently fit a municipal right-of-way through there. There could be a road extended to the east, but that's just currently agricultural land. There's no other road stub to connect to there. If there's any further questions, then I can answer them as directed.
Okay, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Councilor Van Passen, question? Go ahead.
And just quick question on the engineering and the shape of the lots, because there is some wooded area there. I'm assuming you're trying to save as many of the trees and still leave enough room to build a house and the amenities that go with the house without having to just arbitrarily make nice big square 1 acre lots and taking down trees to build houses. Is that the logic behind it?
Yes, that's a good point to bring up. The cul-de-sac, if you look at the site itself, is not completely centered on the property. And that was shifted further to the east to try and make the lots on the southwest boundary of the site more long and narrow so that there's room to keep as much of the woodlot as possible and put a house on the lot still without having to remove as many trees as possible.
Is there anyone here present in attendance that wants to speak to this file? And is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak? Okay, there's a staff recommendation before us. Does someone wish to move it or present an alternative? Moved by Councillor Michelle, seconded by Councillor Van Passen. All in favor? That is carried. Would we be able to just take a 5-minute recess here? It's 3:45, come back at 4. Is that okay? Okay.
Thank you for having me.
I've been chatting with you and I got to know you a little bit more, but for folks that don't know you, maybe introduce yourself.
My name is Carrie Bokenholt. I live here in Waterford. I've lived here for over 15 years. I'm married, I got 2 kids, and I just love the community.
Mm-hmm. From our conversation today, there's a lot of the community word showed up quite a few times, so.
I'm a believer of, when I moved into Waterford, I thought, wow, you know what, if we get involved, then you learn so much more and you meet so many different people. I mean, people that I know if I wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yes. So I asked you to pick a location, Carrie, and so tell us where we are and why you picked it.
I picked the Waterford Heritage Agriculture Museum, WHAM, because in a couple summers we will be building our skateboard park here. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a let's show it. Not that I wore the shirt or anything, but yes, this will be our future location on the other side.
Talking about passion and passionate people, what do you think your passion is?
My passion is youth. I love kids. You know what? There's no such thing as a bad kid. Kids make bad decisions. And as the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And I truly believe that, you know what? We give kids, that opportunity and show them that we support them and that, that we're there for them and they'll make the right decisions.
Mm-hmm. I made a stop at her business. She has a business downtown Waterford, and I was seeing that your family works there, your friends, your best friend is...
My best friend is with me. Both best friends, yes.
So this tight-knit community feel is really important to you.
When I was given my dream and somebody said to me, here, I'll help you, create your dream. And I thought, okay, karma. So this is somebody saying to me, it's my opportunity to use this to give back. If I have a restaurant, nobody should be hungry. I want kids to feel like they can come in and say, I need something or I need a drink or, whatever. I've been doing this for 30 years and the kids that I trained 30 years ago still come back to find me. And they come back and they tell me what they've been doing. And I guess the biggest thing is people don't realize sometimes the simplest thing can change a kid's life.
It is a ripple effect, don't you think?
It is, you know what? And I mean, so I get to see their, I feel old when I start seeing them coming with their kids. And I start seeing, that they've gone through and they're going to university or they're doing this or they've done this or done that. And it makes me feel like, I had a piece of that. Just by being involved in their life, maybe I made a little bit of a difference.
So you're an entrepreneur, you're super involved in the community, you're a mom, you have a lot on the go. So if I ask you, what do you do to de-stress and let go?
I like to go to the gym. I like to, boot camp, yoga. I try to take, a few hours a week for me.
Yes.
And it's just about me. And I honestly think anybody who's really busy, I think needs to learn. It took me 48 years to figure it out. But
never too late.
Never too late. As I said, I can go to the gym and I can be having the world's hardest day, and I always say I leave it on the mat.
Love.
So when I walk out of there, I feel like a completely, totally different person. Leave it on the mat.
So other than that, when you're in Norfolk, what else do you love to do? What's your favorite spot or place that you like to visit or something you love to do?
Love to go on the trails. I love going fishing on the ponds. Waterford, we have so many little places to go and see and do and
what's
stuff.
Happening in this community?
You know what, there is. And I mean, the thing is we don't really, I laugh because there's so many of us who don't see what's here. They're right here. Whistling Gardens, Bonnie Heath. We have all the wineries and stuff. The museum. There's so many places to go. You can have a staycation without leaving Norfolk.
Yes. So thank you so much, Carrie, for joining me today and being part of this blog and video series. I invite you to check it on. Every month there will be somebody new, a new story, a new connection. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series about the people of Norfolk. It's about people that have high energy, that get involved in their community. We sit down, have a conversation, learn about their passions. Welcome to the next episode. Hello, I'm Emily. Welcome to Passionate Folks. I love to ask questions and discover people's passion and having great conversations. So today I'm here with Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Might be you're here, might be you invited me to a great place. I got to know you a little bit more today, but I'd love you to tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure. So I'm Nick Cranks. I was raised in Langton, and I live in St. Williams now.
So Norfolk County boy.
Yeah, Norfolk County boy. Yeah. If we're going to put a location on it, and if you're asking someone where you're from, this area, you always say Norfolk County. Unless you're from Port Dover.
Did you say Port Dover?
Then you say Port Dover for some reason.
I invited you to pick a place. So tell us where we are and why you decided to invite me here.
So we're at where I work, Blueberry Hill Estates, which my family owns as well too. This is where I spend probably my entire day every day of the year. So we're located on the patio here, and we basically are overlooking the patch. And you probably cannot see from the camera because it's on the other side of the camera, but the lake is just on the other side.
I love to hear about people's passion, and I know you have a lot of projects going on, and I want to dig further into your passion. So what do you think really stands out for you? What are you really passionate about?
So day in, day out, I'm typically making wine or working the field, so that's something I'm really passionate about. I'm also the president of the Ontario South Coast Wineries and Growers Association, which encompasses Norfolk along with other neighboring counties. And so I'm really passionate about trying to raise awareness of this area for growing grapes and making world-class wines.
And so winemaking, like what draws you to it? Why are you making your whole life right now? And why winemaking in Norfolk County?
Well, I guess you could say it's one of the best agricultural products you can make.
I agree.
It's something that you can preserve, and like even after the crop is finished, you still have to work with the crop that you were working out in the field all year round. And when you put it in a glass of wine, you have memories of how that year was when that wine was made.
So it sounds like you spend a lot of time on this farm, a lot of time on this like part of Norfolk County, but if you have time to de-stress, where would you go? What do you do in Norfolk?
I definitely like going to the beach. So, getting out in the water when it's a hot day is truly nice.
Not too far from Turkey Point, I guess.
Yeah,
You can roll down the hill.
Yeah,
or...
we got excellent restaurants here too, so which is pretty amazing for the per capita, the amount of people that live in Norfolk County, that we have enough restaurants that you count them more than your two hands or whatever, which is
really
nice.
Good ones too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so exciting to see how our agro-tourism industry is developing in our area, and it's kind of cool to see you guys like working together and really promoting this area.
Well, when you think about farming from what it was in the past, it has to evolve over time though to make it an industry that can support itself. It allows people to be able to figure out ways to succeed or have succession in their family, to go to that next generation, so that way we can have countless more generations of those families living in Norfolk County, growing the things that their grandparents grew.
And keeping the passion alive.
Exactly, yeah.
I thank you so much for your time, Nick. I thank you for inviting me in this beautiful place. I cannot wait to explore some more. And
It's too bad it's not pizza day.
No, I heard that was really good. I'll come back. I'll be back. Thanks, Nick.
No worries. Cheers.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November, we began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listened to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key
Thank you, everybody. We're on air. Okay, thank you. Welcome back, everybody. If we can make sure that everybody's in their seats, we'll proceed. Thank you very much. It is 4.3 on our agenda, development application ZNPL 2023-298 and 28 TPL 2023-297, Langton CD-23-078. We have received written comments, and public comments have been received after the agenda was published, so they are in your addendum. I'm going to go over to Brandon Sloan, General Manager of Community Development. Will you introduce this report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So for our final development file today, we'll turn it over to Hannah to provide the development overview. Hannah.
Thank you. Through Madam Chair, just one moment while I pull up our screen to share. Okay, just looking to confirm everyone can see my screen okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so through the chair, as noted earlier, we have 2 applications for information today. The subject property is located at a property having no civic address with frontage on 12th Concession Road in the hamlet of Langton. The subject lands are designated hamlet, agricultural, and hazard land, and zoned hamlet residential and agricultural and hazard land. Due to a previous consent, which severed an existing surplus dwelling on the farmlands under the agricultural designation, there's also a site-specific provision, 14.29, on the subject lands. Just noting up top that the area of development will exclusively occur on the land's designated hamlet. The surrounding land uses are primarily residential to the northwest, agricultural to the south and east, and as noted, there is a small portion of hazard lands with an overlay of significant woodlands to the southeast corner on the parcel. There are 2 planning applications being presented for information today. A draft plan of subdivision is being proposed to create the following items in 2 phases. So for the first phase, we have residential lots for single detached dwelling. Those are lots 1 through 7, which will be on municipal water services and private sanitary services. 1 block is proposed for widening right-of-way on Jenny Lane, and 1 block is proposed for stormwater management. In phase 2, the remaining residential lots are proposed to be created. So those are lots 8 through 24. A new street, which will have connection for both 12th Concession Road and Queen Street, and block 27, which is a future residential block. To facilitate this, a zoning bylaw amendment is proposed, and this is affecting 4 different parts on the subject lands. So in part 1, the lands are already zoned hamlet residential with that site-specific provision 14.29. So that's proposed to be amended to remove the special provision and replace it with a new special provision to permit a reduced lot area of 0.22 hectares for each lot. On part 2, the lands are zoned agricultural, so we're looking to amend to hamlet residential zone. Again, remove special provision 14.29 and replace it with the new special provision for a reduced lot area, as noted earlier. Staff are proposing for part 3 to amend from the agricultural zone with that special provision 14.29 to the open space zone to facilitate stormwater management. And lastly, part 4, that's currently zoned agricultural with special provision 14.29. We're looking to remove 14.29 and replace it with the new special provision. The new special provision will permit a reduced minimum lot area for the agricultural zone, so this part will be under 40 hectares, and maintain the intent of 14.29, so specifically that single detached dwellings are not permitted as a use. In addition to standard requirements for draft plans of subdivision, the technical reports submitted with the planning applications include a functional servicing report, hydrogeological report, geotechnical report, general plan of studies, traffic impact study, topographical survey, and sample building elevations. With regard to technical comments, no key concerns have been raised to date. Some standard conditions of approval have been added in the draft conditions of approval by department and external staff. The fire department provided an informational comment emphasizing that sufficient road width is required to accommodate the fire department apparatus and on-street parking. Staff at this time are waiting for feedback from development engineering. There has, as noted by Madam Chair, one comment was received from the member of the public concerning water supply and quantity. In terms of preliminary considerations for these applications, we're looking at the addition of housing, the preservation of agricultural lands, the creation of a new road, and the method of servicing. Next steps for the planning department is that staff are currently preparing a recommendation report for the zoning bylaw amendment for council's consideration on November 21st. And following that, there'll be a recommendation report with conditions of draft approval prepared for the December 19th meeting. That's all for me. Thank you for your time, and I am available for any questions. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll go to the committee. Is there any questions out there from committee? Hearing none. We're going to move on then. 4.3B is Trevor Benjamin. Am I saying that correctly? CJDL Consulting Engineer for the development application for Langton. I'm not going to go through the numbers again. So you are the registered speaker for this item. I would remind you that you have 5 minutes to speak, Trevor, and you can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of council and staff and public who are present today. My name is Trevor Benjamins. I'm a planner with CJDL Consulting Engineers in Tillsonburg. I'm the agent on the applications. And just to add to Hannah's presentation, one of the supporting studies was also included was in a planning justification report, which I'm also the author of. This property is in Southeast Langton, and the draft plan application is within the hamlet of Langton. Next slide, please. The property is located in the southeast corner of, as I said, in Langton. It has frontage onto Concession Road 12, Jenny Lane, Priddle Drive, and County Road 59. It is part of a large farm parcel that is partially within Langton. It's roughly 38.17 hectares in size currently, and that will be slightly reduced with the draft plan application. It's currently used as farmland, and as I said, the area within the hamlet is designated as a hamlet area in the Norfolk County official plan and zoned as an agricultural zone. Surrounding land uses are low density west and north, and to the east and south is farmland. Next slide, please. The proposed development would see 24 low-density single detached lots on a new street, as well as the existing streets Priddle Drive and Jenny Lane. There would be a road widening block to extend Jenny Lane to create a better turn radius for those lots. There would also be one stormwater management block that would be developed in part of phase 1. There is one future residential block for a possible future expansion of the settlement boundary, and the remaining agricultural block outside of the hamlet area. Next slide, please. So in phase 1, draft plan would be done in 2 separate phases. The first phase would include development of lots 1 through 7 on the existing streets, Jenny Lane and Priddle Drive. The stormwater management block would also be developed as part of phase 1, and stormwater would get there through rear yard swales. The phase 2 would be the remaining lots on the proposed street A. The hamlet residential zone is shown on this slide, and as well as the site-specific amendments, which I'll go through on the next slide. Next slide, please. The zoning bylaw amendment would change the zoning in the draft plan area to a site-specific hamlet residential zone. We'd be requesting a slight reduction in the minimum lot area, which the Hydro-G and geotechnical reports supported that lot size with private services. The minimum lot frontage for the interior and corner lots reduction, as well as the minimum exterior side yard reduction. We'd also remove that a site-specific 14.29, which prohibits single detached dwellings. That was implemented as part of a previous surplus farm dwelling severance on this property. There would also be a slight reduction to the lot area requirement for the remaining agricultural portion. Next slide, please. Under the Planning Act, we're required to be consistent with the provincial policy statement and conform and comply with the municipal legislature under, in this case, Norfolk County's official plan and their zoning bylaw. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through how we are consistent and conform with those plans. Under provincial policy, Langton does not have municipal service, so private services are their preferred form of servicing, really the only available form of servicing here, which is why we are proposing single detached dwellings. Langton is a primary hamlet settlement area within Norfolk County, which provincial policy intends to be the focus of growth and development. It's within walking distance to a variety of areas within Langton, as Langton is fairly small. Only 24 lots under provincial policy. Under private services, you're allowed to develop minor rounding out and infill development, which is why it's only 24 lots proposed at this time. And there's no natural heritage features or provincially significant wetlands within the proximity of the draft plan area. The Norfolk County official plan, it would be a positive impact, financial impact to the county. As I mentioned, the lots are appropriately sized to and a suitable area for private services, and we would conform with a number of policies under the hamlet residential within the official plan. Next slide, please.
I have to cut you off.
Okay, no, that's okay.
So if you just took a second to wrap up, that would be great.
Yep, I'll just go to the last slide if that's okay. As you can see, we are consistent with provincial policy in the official plan. This would provide additional housing options within Norfolk County. And single detached dwellings are permitted use within the hamlet residential zone and designation. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of committee to the presentation? Councillor Brunton?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple questions here. Street A, the second phase, is that other lots on Street A? Am I correct?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, that is correct. The Street A would be part of the second phase as well as the lots fronting onto Street A.
Okay, the land on the, I'm looking at this Langton, I guess the draft plan I'm looking at here, but it shows part 1 and part 2 existing residential. It gives some reference numbers 37R 11477. Is there residences on those 2 blocks right now, or are they vacant?
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe those lots are vacant right now.
Okay, and so you show block 27 for future residential. I assume that's to the, I'm not sure, is that north, south, east, or west here? I don't see a north arrow on here. Maybe I missed it. Hang on. Anyways, it's the lands south, I think, of Street A. They show block 27. Is that, it shows vacant, but I mean, is that like a 1 foot reserve, or what is that? Where, like, so you can develop further to the south, I take that as, right?
You, Madam Chair, yes, that is correct. In consultation with Norfolk County planning staff, there was discussions about a possible adjustment to the settlement boundary of the hamlet of Langton. So that is, it's just it's a very small portion that if the settlement boundary ever does get altered, that lots could front onto Street A.
Okay, and those 2 existing lots that are vacant now, do they, do you know if they, I can't tell on the contour, but do they drain to the stormwater pond or block? No?
Through you, Madam Chair, I unfortunately do not know the answer to that. Our senior engineer is available. I believe those use lot grading and swales to control stormwater management, but I'm not sure if they'd utilize the storm pond.
Well, I guess my question is, well, like those 2 lots are fairly large, and it looks to me like they could be chopped into maybe 3 or 4 lots fronting on your Street A. And I'm just wondering if the stormwater block is designed, will be designed, I guess, to accommodate those 2 parcels. Just a question. I guess you don't have to answer it today, but something that I'm kind of curious as to what might happen with them 2 lots. They're quite large.
Through you, Madam Chair, this development application has changed a couple times. We used to have significantly larger lot sizes similar to those previous severances that were done. However, we had to kind of get supporting studies finished which would support smaller lot sizes to have private services, which is why the lot sizes have been reduced from those previous severances.
I guess block 25, which is the stormwater pond, I can hardly read it, but I guess that's, am I looking at the right block? Block 25?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and that's basically for all the 24 lots, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I moved my page. Oh, Councillor Berry, my apologies. Councillor Berry, go ahead. Oh, no, Councillor Duffy. My apologies, Councillor Duffy, go ahead.
Won't take offense this time. Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. Sorry, Councillor Berry. Can you maybe, thanks for your presentation today and for shedding more light on this. Can you just walk me through, I understand it's broken into 2 phases. Walk me through your anticipated timeline for both of these phases.
Timelines are all really dependent on draft plan approval and timelines around that. So phase 1 would obviously be developed after draft plan approval, and appeals periods have lapsed, which is probably next spring, and phase 2 would be hopefully shortly thereafter. But I don't have a specific timeline for you at this time when phase 2 would be developed.
How long do you anticipate phase 1 to take?
Phase 1, we'd like to probably move forward with construction into next year. I think that's feasible.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Thank you very much for your presentation. At this particular time, is there anyone in chambers wishing to speak to this report? Come on up, Jim. Hey, Jim. You have 5 minutes as well. So if you want to pose questions or you want to make a statement, that would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a few concerns about the lots. They don't really state that there's commercial property to the west of the first few lots. That's my trucking business. We've been there for 89 years. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be there. You know, I understand you need to develop the lots, but we're there and we're not leaving. I don't want the hassles of neighbors that buy new lots and homes and they don't like trucks. It's sort of like buying a lot in the country and the farmer spreads manure beside it. Well, people don't understand. So that's one concern that I really want to be understood. Another is the lot size. Everything seemed to be 1 acre lots for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, or I haven't kept track, but with a 1 acre lot, it seems like people that buy a 1 acre lot have things going on. Like they're not just living in a house. They have a 1 acre lot, they have a house, they have a garage, they have a side business. These kind of people fit into our zone really well. Like they're not there retired. They're, you know, if I have trucks, they don't mind. So that's my thing on 1 acre lots and the sewage problem. This day and age, most homes don't have 3 or 4 people living in them. They have 2 generations, maybe 3. There could be 7, 8, 9 people living in a house. So the sewage problem. That's that part of it. Another part is I also own a farm to the northeast of the property, and running through this property is a tile drain that drains most of my property and quite a bit of the property that the lots are going through. Now, there's been no mention of that. I know that it's known, but I just want to make sure that I don't lose this tile drain. No one seems to claim ownership of it. I have had the township repair it years ago, and I thought they owned it, and apparently they say they don't, Norfolk County. But that is one big concern, that there is a lot of water. That's a huge watershed, and that ground is very wet. Where this tile drain is, it has to be there. So that's another concern. I guess that's about, and Jenny Lane, on the widening of Jenny Lane. My business borders James Street and Jenny Lane, and we use that as an entrance exit constantly. So I need to know, will there be curbs, sewers all put there? If there are, they have to be drive over curb type deal. And if they're going to expand the street, where is it going? Is it going on my property? Is the expansion going to go east, or is it going to go west? Or maybe, both sides? Is the street going to get wider? So that's my concerns, and I guess that's about it.
Thank you, Jim. Are there any questions for Jim? I have one. Oh, Doug, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just so clarify that tile drain, does it go through this property?
Yes.
Do you give me an idea where, like?
I can show you on a paper I've got drawn up, but
I just wondered.
It goes from the northeast corner right through and exits the property about 200 or 100 feet south of where the designated lots are. That corner of the lots would be very close to the tile drain.
Sorry, I can't follow you, but is that a mutual agreement with you and the other property owner, or no?
No.
It's just been there.
It's been there for, I don't know how long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And at the road on the 12th concession, there is a culvert under the road, and a catch basin beside the road. And then it leads into that tile drain.
Jim, if I can ask you, if there's no more questions, the size of your lot and what number it is, because picking it up.
1024 James. It'd be the right on the corner of Jenny Lane and James Street.
What size is that lot, Jim?
I don't know.
It's not an acre by any means.
No.
No. Okay. Perfect. Oh, go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Can I just, to the deputation, just ask you a clarifying question? Did you say, and I'm just, because I'm looking at the map here, so I'm just trying to understand and orient myself correctly. You're on the corner of Jenny Lane and James Street. Is that right? But our mapping here is showing that that's existing residential, but this is your commercial business up here?
It's commercial property.
Okay.
Have your office there and everything.
The office, our house, our garage.
Yeah.
Actually, the north side of James Street and Jenny Lane is also commercial property.
The north, so opposite you?
Yep.
So are there residential homes in that area?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Is there anyone else that wish to speak to this? Yes, come on up. And if you could give your name, please.
Hello, my name's Virginia Strubant.
Did you get that, Virginia Strubant?
I own the property that is just north of his commercial lot on. Okay, I'm the only house that faces Jenny Lane. Number 7. My problem is my septic weeping bed is in my front lawn. So if they're going to widen the street, I have a problem with that. And streets are usually measured from the center, right, to widen them. So it's going to go right into my weeping bed in the front. And it's been there, I don't even know how long. That house has been there for a very, very long time. So that's my concern.
Okay, are there any further questions? Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Madam Chair.
Councillor Button.
Madam Chairman, I'm just looking at the map here. It says lot 7 onto Jenny Lane. There's 3 lots coming down from the 12th on, and it looks like they front on Jenny
I'm on
Lane.
the west side of Jenny Lane.
West side of Jenny
Yeah.
Lane.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at. I assume that's lot 7 or 6 or 7.
Block 7, lot 7, yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But your front yard is on Jenny Lane.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? If not, thank you very much. We'll make note of all the comments that have been made. Is there anyone on the line? Thank you. Is there anyone on the line that would like to make comment? We don't see any hands up online, so, okay. Okay, that's good. All right, at this point in time, does someone wish to move the staff recommendation? And I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Brunton, seconded by Councillor Huffman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, I will be voting. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Okay. I have 4.4, notice of cancellation of public meeting pertaining to the county initiating official plan amendment file 0PNP L20238280. This report was scheduled for this November the 7th, the PHC meeting, but it has been canceled. This report is now planned to come on December the 5th for the PHC meeting, just as a information for you. Okay, with that, there's nothing else. With that, I need a motion for an adjournment at 4:27. Thank you, Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Duffy. Thank you very much. No debate on that. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming out.